people don't know. They don't know. They're not aware. Um,
Hey everyone, welcome back to Too Personal with Joy Taylor. Today we are joined by entrepreneur, founder, and cultural visionary Ingrid Best. Thanks
I
so much
like
for coming
that.
in.
Cultural
And she brought
visionary.
wine. If you know
Yes.
me, you know I like a little vino, but I actually really love her wine.
Oh.
Which when maybe the last time I saw you, I came and told you because it was the first time that we met.
Mhm.
But I've been drinking your wine for ages. It's amazing wine, and I'm not just she's not paying me to say that. I really do actually love it. She's the founder and CEO of iBest Wines. It's an award-winning luxury wine company that is redefining the wine industry, and she spent over 20 years in a bunch of very important rooms: Diageo, Moet Hennessy, Bacardi, some of the biggest spirit brands on the planet, and then built something of her own through her travels to South Africa, which is a place that I really love. Went a few years ago. So let's get into the story. Welcome to Too Personal, Ingrid.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And thank you for being a fan of the brand. And no, I am not paying her to say that.
No, she's really not. Like, this one is my favorite.
The red blend.
The red blend is great, and I will be trying the other two, and I'll give you my feedback.
Yeah, the rosé is brand new. So
it's
I
new.
want to know what you think about it.
Listen, I love a rosé.
Good.
A porch pounder, as we call it. So, well, I guess let's start with what made you want to get into wine.
Yeah, so I look a little younger than I am. I've been in wine and spirits for 20 years. Got my started as an ambassador in Northern California, launching a brand for Diageo. So at the time I was an ambassador, I answered an ad on Craigslist to launch a brand.
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Some things used to happen on
That tells you how old
Craigslist.
I am, right?
Things used to happen on Craigslist.
I know. And I fell in love with the industry. I really loved the storytelling aspect of it. Many brands are family brands, right? So there's all this legacy, and kind of worked my way up from there. So started as ambassador at Diageo, then got an actual role at Diageo across their entire portfolio. Then got recruited by LVMH to work on the Moet Hennessy portfolio. And again, wine, champagne, spirits. And I was just really good at it, right? I think there's a real intersection with culture that happens with brands. And so for me, that was the part that I really thrived in, right? A great salesperson, great marketer, but also someone connected to culture. And I just worked my way up. I really love this industry. And I've had a chance to work on some big brands. I've had a chance to build some big brands, some joint ventures. And then I was like, I don't want to do this for anyone else. Like, I know that I have a mastery of this business and I want to do it for myself. And I love wine. Wine is like a big part of just kind of what I do and what I research, and, when I'm spending time with friends or when I'm traveling.
And why did you choose to do South Africa? Because there's a lot of different wine regions all over the world.
Mhm.
I have traveled a lot. Like, it's one of my passions. So I've had wine everywhere. And I've had wine in South Africa. I went to the wine region in South Africa and went to a couple wineries there. And it's a beautiful place with amazing wine. But why did you choose South Africa?
Yeah, so I'm from the Bay Area. So originally I was like, I'm going to launch wine from Napa,
Yeah.
right? Because I know it and it's easy and it's not a 20-hour travel day.
Yes.
But I was working on Global Citizens, launching a brand during the Global Citizens in South Africa. And really just kind of fell in love. I was like, wait, this story is amazing, right? And a girlfriend and I took a trip and realized, like, wait, there's all this wine coming from South Africa. And I was a bit naive. Although I had been in the industry for a long time, um, I wasn't really up on the South African wine region. And so I kind of got obsessed. I started doing all this research and I was like, that's it. That's where I'm launching the wine from. And, in other places outside of the United States, South African wine is fairly prevalent,
Yeah.
right? People know about it. You see it on menus, so on and so forth, but very underrepresented in the US. And I was like, that's the opportunity. And really the country, I love the country. I have so many friends there now who I consider family. The art, the music, film, fashion, I mean, you've been to South Africa, and the wine region, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful wine regions in the world.
Yeah, it's amazing.
it's kind of my way of being disruptive. It's also my way of shedding light on a region that I think deserves to have really great visibility in the United States because there's so many wine drinkers here, right? So I'm also just kind of disruptive like that.
Now, you decide to go to launch your wine in South Africa. Obviously, you're an expert in this space.
Mhm.
What is the first step? Like, where do you even begin with that? Because, like you said, it's to get. We're in LA, so to get to Cape Town, you have to fly. Like, I flew 12 hours to London or 11 hours, whatever it is, to London, and then another 11 hours down. Like, it is a
It's
whole
crazy.
day of travel. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
basically on a plane for an entire day.
So LA, Atlanta has a direct flight
Yes,
via
to Cape
Delta.
Town.
So that was my route. But I started doing this in the pandemic. So I was calling people and just researching, like really researching, like where do I even start? And again, because I've been in wine and spirits for a while, you know that it always starts with the product. It
Hmm.
starts with a craftsmanship and production and all of that. So I was really focused on that piece, all the while also thinking about like what the brand DNA was going to be like, what the brand was going to look like, which it changed. Like where we started and where we ended, it kind of changed. It also was me figuring out who was I going to build this with, right? Because it's
Yeah.
really difficult to do things by yourself. And so I tapped 5 Black and brown women that I had met during my time in at different various organizations and said, listen, I have this dream. I'll give you some equity. I want to build this brand. And the equity piece with them was so important for me because I never had equity in anything that I built. And
Yeah.
so for me, I was like, I built a lot of brands and I did a lot of cool things. And there were opportunities for people to give me equity and they didn't. And there was a short stint in my career where I worked for Vitamin Water and I got equity. This was before they were bought by Coca-Cola and didn't understand it.
Hmm.
And so this was my way of saying, like, I'm going to rewrite all of those experiences for myself with these women. And so we built the brand, but it really started with like who we were going to work with in South Africa, what winery, what partner, what wines. It starts with the product.
Yeah. And what story did you want to tell? Because obviously, when it comes to wine, particularly, most spirits, but like wine particularly, people like to feel like they're they have their wine and this comes from here and this family and this
Yeah.
background. Like, it's not just popping up a bottle of wine. Like, you
Yeah.
want to tell the story.
Yeah. That's such a great point. And the way you put it is like so perfect. The story is me, right? Here's this woman who's worked in the wine and spirits industry for over 20 years, who people were celebrating, right? The work that I was doing. And I had enough courage and enough belief in myself, and at the time, enough capital to actually invest in doing it. That is the story. And I fell in love with the South African wine region. I fell in love with South Africa. So on the back of every bottle, it says, "This is my love letter to South Africa." So the story is this deep, rich love for wine, for craftsmanship, for artistry, and I think a love for an industry that I'd given so much of my life to.
Hmm.
And in my career, I saw all these brands that were built by families, right? So Best is my real last name, right? Thank God for my daddy. And so this is my story. This is my legacy. It's my way of leaving something to, I think, an industry that I want to make sure remembers me,
Yeah.
you know?
You've poured a lot into it.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. What do you make of the industry right now? Because I grew up in the binge drinking era.
Mm-hmm.
So, my relationship with alcohol, has obviously
Yeah.
changed,
Yeah.
and matured.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time where I really feel like, the conversation around alcohol now is like all alcohol is terrible for you. The, younger generation is not drinking, but simultaneously they are becoming more lonely,
Mm-hmm.
more separated. And I'm not encouraging people to binge drink or like, become alcoholics. So just relax.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an aspect of like socializing that has
Mhm.
existed since humans have existed and since
Right.
alcohol has existed, that you come together all over the world. Like, Americans did not invent drinking. where there is a socialization aspect of
Yeah.
it. Where do you stand on all of that? Because I'm not pitching people on drinking, but I do think that there is a real disconnect with human beings. Like, I don't think
Mhm.
that that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's, I don't think it's completely detached from the fact that young people are drinking less.
Yeah, I think it's such a great question because people make this assumption because I'm a founder of a wine brand that I'm sitting around drinking all day long, and that can be farther from the truth. Um, I'm doing a lot of work, a lot of business work that
Right.
requires me to be on, right? And so now a glass of wine has been something that I'm like, I have time to have a glass of wine. And I think what has happened is that people realize there are options. If you don't drink, that is okay. And you can still
100%.
have friend groups and places to go and enjoy a menu because there are things for you now, right? To still like be a part of the ritual, and it's okay. I love the fact that people are becoming more aware and more conscious. And so everything for me is about responsibility,
Yeah.
and even with a wine brand, you should be drinking responsible. And there are so many ways now for you to enjoy a glass of wine and not open up a whole bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So like the Corvin is one of the best inventions in the
I
world,
love
right?
it.
You pour yourself a glass and that bottle can sit and still be good.
Yeah, because I'm not having three. It's what kept me from opening a bottle.
Right.
Because I'm like, I'm not going to waste this entire bottle. I want one glass tonight
That's it.
as I'm watching my little show. I don't, if I open it and now I have to drink 3 glasses or it goes bad.
Yeah. So I think there may be a stigma around like non-drinkers and drinkers. And I
Yeah.
think there shouldn't be. I think everyone has a choice. We're living in a new day. People's habits have changed. I enjoy a glass of wine with friends. I love having conversation with friends. When I'm having a glass of wine, my phone is not in my hand. My glass of wine is in my hand. And I'm talking and I'm, making sure that I'm present with friends. And I can do that whether I have a glass of wine or not.
Yeah.
But I think there is this ritual that comes with wine drinking, right? And what I'd like to say to people is what I enjoy and what I'm selling is that ritual. It's the community of it, it's the story of it. It's the kinship to certain things like art and experiences, but it always should be anchored in drinking responsibly. Everybody has their own choice that they need to make. And I encourage that and I welcome that. I think the industry, though, has created this narrative that like people are drinking less and there are shifts in I think human behavior, but that's with any industry.
Yeah.
There's a shift, right? And it hasn't stopped, I think, people embracing my brand and what I'm doing. And what I'm selling more than wine is like, believe in yourself, take a bet, do something cool, be disruptive. And if that leads you to a glass of my wine, great. But if it leads you to just start that pillow company that you've been thinking about, even better.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you keep saying ritual because that is really a great word for it.
Mhm.
Like people get together over tea, they get together over food, they get together over wine, they get together over drinks, like
Right.
they spirits, like they get together to perform a ritual of sharing something.
Yeah.
And that I think is probably what the industry needs to shift more towards when it comes to storytelling about alcohol. Because I didn't grow up in a drinking house at all.
Yeah.
And, obviously a lot of people suffer from alcoholism and a
Mhm.
lot of people suffer from, there's, obviously drunk driving and all these other
Yeah.
things, these like negative things associated with it. And of course, the price of things
Right.
as well. But I do think the ritual of getting together with community
Mhm.
and talking about your day and talking
Yeah.
about family and like just being around in, the vibrations of other people
Yeah.
is more what I think isn't being sold by the industry
Yeah.
than anything else. So I'm glad that you used that word because
Yeah.
community is something that like we all are struggling with
Mhm.
these days. We're all connected, we have a million ways to reach each other, but we're so disconnected.
Yeah.
And it's like not authentic connections. And some
Yeah.
of like my most fond memories, while some of them might be a little a little shaky, are being with my girlfriends and like
Enjoying a
going
glass
to
of
wine
wine.
tasting.
Yeah.
Like in South Africa, we went on a wine tasting trip, and it was the first place we went was this beautiful winery. I was just absolutely stunning. And after our wine tasting, they had all of this local art up
Mm-hmm.
by students. And we just got into full auntie shopping mode. And
Yeah, and supported the
listen, I was
artists.
like,
And
run that card up. I
yeah.
want this one. I want that one. And I came home with this giant tiger head. You know, the
Wow.
beading work that they
Yeah.
do down there.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's on my house. Is it? Yeah. You know, it's like, it's hanging in my house. And forever I had nowhere to put it. But I was like, I'm not leaving without this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fun. I had to buy a whole new suitcase for it. But it's like, it's a funny moment and a great
Mm-hmm.
story that all
Mm-hmm.
came from us going to this winery. We also went to the Five Sisters winery
Oh
there,
yeah.
which is a woman owns
Yeah.
and brown woman owns winery. So like
Winery.
the stories are just great. And like those
Mm-hmm.
memories are very vivid. So I love the word ritual and
Yeah.
community
And
attached to it.
I think now when everyone is so glued to their phones,
Yeah.
which is part of the problem, right? There's like the ritual of the phone, which can take up so much of your time, and it does cut you off from actually interacting with human beings.
Well, just even eye contact.
Just eye contact.
Like if
Something
you're
as
on your
simple.
phone, you're doing this. Like
Yeah.
I have had to adjust like that as disrespect when
Mhm.
someone's talking. Because you know, women, we can multitask. Like
Yeah.
I can write a whole I can be cussing somebody out and be like, yeah, girl, I
Uh-huh.
totally
Yeah.
understand. Like I got
Mhm.
two brains going on right now. I'm
Right.
listening to you and I am handling this thing. But I have had to adjust me thinking of that as disrespect as someone being on their phone because you're not getting eye contact with them when you're talking to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No. For me, again, I think it's about coming together, having experiences. In the case of I Best Wines, we're transporting you to South Africa, right? My hope is that you would get curious about the country. You would get curious about the wine region. And if it's not on your list of places to go, hopefully through the experience of the wine and getting to know me and the brand that you go and you experience it. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. And I think that's the beauty of ritual
Mm-hmm.
is that it should be enticing something. It should be something that's thought provoking. And yeah, but I do think that the industry, I don't want to say is in an interesting place. I just think people have choice.
Yeah.
And I love seeing people more responsible. What we need is an industry with a consumer that is uber responsible. And if that means drinking isn't for you, don't do it.
Very simply that.
That's it.
Very simply that. And don't feel pressure to do it
And don't
either.
feel
Like
pressure.
there's great mocktails.
Great mocktails,
Or just have some water.
non-alcs.
Yes.
And again, for the drinker, there's also ways to enjoy just a glass of wine, right? You do not need to waste a bottle of wine
Or overindulge.
or overindulge, which is to me the most important piece of it.
So you're an entrepreneur
Mhm.
after working in a very corporate space for a long time with a lot of big names. What was your moment where you were like, yeah, I'm done. I'm going to take a risk on myself and jump into this? Because as a business owner, as a woman, as a Black woman, that is a huge jump and can be a very scary one. And it's a non-parachute moment, actually. Even if you have savings, like you're moving away from something. And I think a lot of people like the idea of being their own boss,
Mhm.
but do not understand what the responsibility and what the actual experience of not only being your own boss, but being other people's
Yeah.
bosses while being your company.
Yeah. I'll be really honest with you. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Before getting into the wine and spirits business, I was in a music business. I was a street promoter during the time where there was lots of record labels, lots of projects to work, just a really cool time in music. And I had a company with one of my best friends, but I was young. I was 20,
Yeah.
But when I did enter corporate, I always attacked my job and my role as if it was like my own.
Mm-hmm.
So these people got a lot out of me, right? Because I naturally have an entrepreneurial spirit. I think when it comes to the work, like actually being somebody who's like, I'm going to get the work done. What I didn't know and what I wasn't prepared for and what I was a bit naive is the realities of what it is to be an adult entrepreneur. Being 20 is one thing, being 45 when you decide to do this thing, right? Where everything has been so comfortable for you for years. Expense budgets, Delta One,
Oh,
all the things
so good.
where you're like, I'm comfortable. Vacations, lots of different kind of
Direct
wine collection,
deposit.
direct deposits, healthcare. I was very, very naive to the struggles of women entrepreneurs. And I say that because I think that's probably one of the things that I felt a little guilty about in this journey. I had so many friends and people that I knew that were entrepreneurs, and I wasn't really stopping to think about what they were going through
Mm-hmm.
because I was in this, I was comfortable. And so fast forward to, the brand will be 3 years in October. Fast forward to now where I'm now 5 years in. So 2 years to actually build and then launch, and now 3 years since launch. This is hard as fuck. And I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm not
That's just that's completely appropriate for around
This
here.
is this
It's
has
hard.
been the most jarring experience, second to being a teenage mom, that I've ever had. And the moments I was watching this thing the other day where this entrepreneur on Instagram was like, entrepreneurship, you could have 53 cents in the bank one day and you could have $50,000 in the bank the next day. Um, that is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone who took basically $1 million of her own money because she had it to do it and invested in this business 5 years later to like, I got $5 in the bank, and people saying, you're so graceful. Oh my God, you do this thing so well. And inside you're thinking, this is so hard. And so it has been really, really difficult. And luckily I'm built for this.
Yeah.
Luckily, I recognize that God built me with everything I need to do this. But have there been days where I am just like, what did I get myself into? And that I have to dig so deep in the courage and the belief that's required to keep going? 1,000%. Have there been those 53 cents in the bank days? For sure. Will there be more? Likely. Is the brand doing well? Are we doing the things that we need to do, the building blocks? Yes. But there is no doubt about the journey of a Black and brown woman founder is hard. And I appreciate everyone saying, you're so graceful. I mean, I don't really know any other way to be. I happen to be a graceful person. Because if I wasn't, I'd be sitting there like, do you know what I've gone through today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the way, right? I mean, I have those talks with God, and I go through that grunt and that hard stuff with my faith. But I'm fully awake and fully aware of how difficult the road has been for so many of my sisters who are out here doing this.
Yeah.
And we are under supported by our own. We are under supported by our allies. We are often left to navigate, do I just say what it is? Do I not say it because I don't want people to be like, she's mad and she's this, and right?
Yeah.
We are in those spots. But are we built for it? We built for it. And that's where there's that interesting, I think, crossroads of like, damn, like sometimes I don't want to be built for all this hard shit.
Why do I have to be God's strongest soldier?
Yeah, why?
Can I be the weakest?
I want to be a little soft here.
Can I have a soft moment? Yeah. I mean, that's very real. And that is across the board in any industry, even in corporate spaces as well, where it's like, I am doing the work and you're claiming to be supportive and you're claiming that you love this. But, for me, I try to always financially support my friends.
Yeah.
Like, there are brands that are going to send me stuff and that's great. But like, I want to buy your thing. Now, if you want to give me, the friends and family discount, I'll take the extra whatever. But like, I want to support you.
Right.
Like I'm buying other people's stuff.
Mhm.
So even if I don't like your product, I'm going to support you.
Right.
Like, I'm going to support with my dollars because you are a company. If
Right.
someone's doing work for me and they're a friend, I want to pay them for the work that they're doing, because if
Right.
I was not their friend, I would be paying them for the
Right.
work. And I think when you're an entrepreneur, as I am an entrepreneur, that is sort of that's the thing where I'm like, damn, we're friends. What? So you were just going to give, and then, but we were just hanging out yesterday. You didn't put, like, damn, dog, like, support me.
Yeah.
Not just by saying that you, like, a comment on,
yeah.
on an Instagram page. We love that. Share, repost, comment, like, okay,
Yeah.
that is important too. And if that's all you got today, I will take it. But there is a step forward for allies, for friends, for family. When it's like, when you're an entrepreneur, all of that is your livelihood. Like, it's how the bills are paid. And you do it for some random corporate or some random person you don't know.
Yeah. I have developed a really strong muscle of telling people how to support me, because I had to realize people don't know. They don't know. They're not aware. It's unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
We would like for them to be, but yeah, the simple thing of like, go to the store and buy it, because the only way I stay in the store is if there's customers going in to buy it, and it can't be just customers that think I'm cool and are fans. It's got to be your community, your tribe, your people. And I've been blessed. Like, I had an art collective group organize a pull up to Costco to buy out the Costco, to buy iBest wines out of Costco. It was like tangible things that you could do, but not everybody thinks to do them.
Yeah.
And so I'm quick to say, people will call about sponsoring stuff. I'm like, we're a startup. We don't have money to sponsor like that. So if you have a budget, great. And then if we meet you with, like, you buy some, we donate some. But like, I also think that startups have to just be really honest about where they are as well. And I think many of us are trying to compete, right? We are in this world where you are trying to compete with other brands. And what do you have to do? But I have been really clear about, like, we are building this. And in order to build it, we need to generate revenue. And in order to generate revenue, you got to buy.
You have to buy it. And you're buying wine anyway. Like, you're buying the thing. Buy it for a gift. Even if you don't drink and you're showing up to someone's house and you're supposed to show up with something, buy a bottle and bring it as the gift.
Yeah.
And then you're introducing it to someone new.
Yeah.
Like that, all of those little things. And it's not just this particular company. Like, if you have an entrepreneur in your life, and this is a service or this is a product that you are going to use, like, someone who has a local bakery, buy your cake from them.
Exactly.
I have a friend, Itika, shout out Itika, Old Vine Florals. If you're buying me flowers and you don't buy them from her,
I need her information, because I want to do some floral stuff with the rose.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll connect you. Yeah, she's the best. Yeah, she's Old Vine Florals, Black woman-owned florist in Los Angeles. Like, if I have a company that's buying like, I'm going to use her.
Yeah.
And lots of people buy flowers, but I'm like, you need to buy them from her.
Yeah.
Don't bring me flowers unless they're from there.
I really think, again, people... I'll go back to my story around, like, how naive I was around the journey for entrepreneur. I was naive because it's in me to support.
Yeah.
It's in me to find the person who's selling the thing and give back and do that's in me. So what I wasn't thinking about is, like, well, how's this person doing? Because I know I might do that, but other people may not do that, right?
Yeah.
And what I've learned in this journey is, like, people really haven't developed the muscle of consistent, ongoing support. And we need it. And I think entrepreneurs need to be more bullish about talking about that, being honest about that, which is why when people say to me, oh my God, you're doing this with such grace. And I'm like, maybe I should make a t-shirt that says graceful, but it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to paint the picture that this is all figured out.
Yeah,
You know
and it's like a balance you walk, because you're growing and you're going in the right direction, but there are hard days and then you have great days, but you're also presenting a brand forward. So you don't want to make it seem like you're struggling. but you're not struggling because this is the growth process.
Right. It's part of the
And you
process.
don't want to complain, but you still have to ask for help.
Mhm.
So it's this constant and then I think as Black women also, we're just programmed, like you said, we're built for this. We have to always be resilient.
Right.
We have to always take on the whole world and show up. And nobody wants to hear our problems. Nobody wants to listen to the sob story. And it just feels sometimes like no one cares. And that's not true. A lot of people care.
Yeah.
But it's this feeling of I don't know, maybe just failure or something that you have to come to peace with.
Yeah, I think many of us are also petrified of the scrutiny that comes when you just tell your truth.
Yeah.
When you just tell the truth. I think it's hard for people to understand that we go through things and we're learning and there's ebbs and flows, and we tend to be scrutinized much more aggressively than other people. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think there is this bit of fear that if you share fully and transparently what you're going through, like if I say to someone, yeah, yesterday I had 53 cents in the bank, that they're like, see, you didn't manage that company good. You're not good at, and it's like, no, guys, this is actually just the truth.
Mm.
Entrepreneurs aren't walking around with cameramen every day and drivers and private jet. That is not true. And that looks good. But you see, I walked in here with my bag with the wine. Hey girl, it's me. It's just me. I am the team of Ingrid. And I think we need to just be more honest about that. But we're oftentimes scared of the scrutiny that we're gonna receive. And so I've been trying to, as much as possible, just be honest. Yes, I am doing this gracefully. It is a beautiful brand. I love building it. I have the chops to do it. I have the mastery to do it because of 20 years in the industry. Are there days that this is really, really, really difficult? Yes. And all of those things can be true at the same damn time.
And they always will be as long as you're an
always will be.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That is the process of building and scaling a company.
Yeah.
And you learn it sometimes, most of the time actually, on the fly.
Yeah.
There's no entrepreneurial school, there's business school, but that's not the same as teaching you how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because nothing, to your point, there were things you just didn't know. There's some things that you have to learn through experience. You just don't know until you know.
Until you know. And I think the other point is for the girls that are still in corporate America, the girls and gals, because we can't put this all the onus on other women. The guys, we need you. Okay? But those of you who are still sitting in those seats to support us from a corporate standpoint, corporate folks to entrepreneurs, be active.
Yeah.
Do the thing. I think that's also been really eye-opening for me. I think because, again, I was just always someone who was doing the thing. What do you need? How do I set the thing up? What's the budget? That's just how I'm wired. It's been really interesting to sit back and watch people in those roles not be wired that way. And you having to remind them, you can hire me for that panel, please. I'd love to be hired for that panel. I actually need the money.
Yeah, don't assume don't assume that don't assume that. Don't assume the budget's too low. You're not going to insult me. The worst thing I'm going to say is, I'm not going to be able to do that. And then you're going to move on. And I'll actually probably refer you to someone else who I know will absolutely do it. Yeah,
right. But I think that's been eye-opening for me. And so again, when I go back and I think about my lack of awareness in terms of what entrepreneurs, the journey was, I think I was not aware because I also was someone who was like, hey girl, I got this budget. What are you working on now? I want to work with you. I was active.
Yeah.
Watching folks who are still in those roles maybe not be as active is disappointing. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it's a real thing when you're out on your own and you see how scary some people are at spaces where it's like, they don't care about you, and you are writing these checks for other people who don't have the relationship that we have and don't have the history that we have. And you absolutely know that if you were in this situation, I would be pouring into you. And I think you have to kind of navigate that. It's been interesting for me. There's been some relationships that I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And
And like, yeah, I have no choice but to take this personally
yeah.
because you personally know me. Like
You
if I
know
don't
me.
know you, like I mean, of course you don't, and it's not about owing someone something. Like I
No.
think fundamentally we are all we got. And when you're trying to build something, you need your community to support you.
For
And
sure.
no one's asking you to empty your bank account, s- you know, go into debt to do that. I'm just saying when you walk past the store and you're going to your friend's house, instead of buying the other bottle, buy my bottle.
Yeah. Be intentional.
Be
Be
intentional.
intentional. Truly be awake, right? To the brands and the people and the things. And I think the biggest point I want to make is like, I'm not asking you to buy bad wine and go
Right.
gift it.
No, you're not. I assure you, you're
So
not.
you know what I'm saying? It's also that I think there is this
Yeah,
assumption
you're not taking a
that
risk here.
no, like if you're buying the hat from your girlfriend's hat company, it's not as good as the hat from the store. Her hats are fantastic.
Yeah.
That's why I buy her hats. My wine is award winning. That's why my wine is selling. And so I think it's that too. It's like no one's asking for you to do a favor. We're asking you to just be aware, and we're asking you to remember what it takes for someone like us to do it versus what it takes a big corporation to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
we don't have the backing.
And
We don't have those budgets. Like
we just
we
don't.
actually need the like boots on the ground support.
For sure. For sure.
How has your tribe supported you like emotionally through this process? Because I have a notorious group chat of women that I would completely fall apart without. Like it's just a safe space to just dump anything from the day, triumphs, losses, weird stuff, medical stuff. Like it's just a place of women and sisterhood that has gotten me through the absolute craziest of times.
Yeah.
And I'm so pro women relationships
Mhm.
and friendships because of them.
Mhm.
And I've had, friendships that have basically spanned the entirety of my life. But I just think friendship and that kind of safe space is so important, particularly for women in, not really in the workspace. Like I'm sure, in motherhood and, grief and all those spaces, but it's been really important for me.
Yeah. Thank God for sisterhood. And I've had a really interesting experience this last 5 years. I've had people that have just poof gone, and it's great because you're like, I know, right? It's clear you weren't supposed to be a part of this part of the journey. And then I've had people that surprisingly, and they've been new folks who they're these new relationships that you're like, wow, you were right what I needed at this moment. And so I'm so grateful for sisterhood, for relationships, whether they be new and old, whether they be the ones that the season has come to an end because you learned the lesson, you let go. And I have some real, I think, partners in entrepreneurship that I can call and sob, right? Shout out to Brandis Daniels from Harlem Fashion Row. We got on the phone the other day, and I mean, I just sobbed. I was like sobbing with sound, and she gave me the space. And by the end of it, we were encouraging each other and doing the thing. And I have a number of sisters like that, right? That we're able to just call and be really vulnerable and have those moments. Felicia is another one, where we'll check in and it's like, "Woo, girl, this ain't easy," and especially I think for those of us again who were at the top of our game from a corporate standpoint,
Yeah.
and then we're thrusted into the reality of entrepreneurship, and there's a level of shedding your ego. There's a level of shedding like what you thought was going to be. There's a level of like having to develop a patience that you never knew existed. And that's usually happening for a number of you. So having each other to come to and just be really vulnerable and honest is really nice. I think more now than ever, I've never been someone who's been focused on relationship and partner and husband. That's not been my story. I've been married to this, like, I love to work, I love to grind, I love to go get it. But I ain't gonna lie, more now than ever, I'm like, damn, it would be nice to have a really great partner right here to help me on this 53-cent day.
Yeah.
And it's made me think about it more. But my sisters have been the one that have filled that gap for me, and I'm grateful to
Yeah.
them, and I'm grateful for them. Shout out to Ricky Hughes. She's another one who has just been there. And again, for everybody who's like, you do it so gracefully. It's like, yeah, because I have people that you don't even have to say, this is hard. This is feeling really uncomfortable. And they're just there for you in ways that you were once there for people when you had it. And so, yeah, I couldn't have gotten through this last 5 years without the sisters that have shown up for me. And again, the relationships that have also shifted, because I think that's equally as important. Not everybody's coming on this thing with you, and you want them to, right? But the reality is they're not, and you gotta be okay with that.
Yeah, I think we don't really bring young people up to understand that everyone is not going to be there for your whole life. I think it's a combination of not wanting to deal with grief, of contextualizing grief as one version, as only death, and not the grief of a life that you thought you were going to have, the grief of relationships, the grief of friendship, the grief of failure. Like grief is not a monolith of an experience. It's not obviously the same as losing a person,
Right.
but you have to grieve things. You have
Yeah.
to grieve your failures. You have to grieve some friendships. Like
Yeah.
they don't, even if it's a fading, like that person might have meant something to you at a particular point in your life, but learning that, yeah, everybody is not forever. Like some people are for a season, and that doesn't mean that they're bad. Sometimes it does,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. It just means like this is the end of your journey together.
That's it. Yeah, it just ends. It's funny. Another one of my like sisters is Angela Yee. She's like one of my besties, and we've had a lot of those conversations about the people that come and go,
Yeah.
and how you have to just accept that and know that and be okay with it and keep it moving. And I do think there's a grief, right? Because if you're not a person that just like falls out with folks and like that's not your story, that's not my story. So when there is this like this thing has come to an end, it's hard. You feel it, right? But I think, especially when you're building great things, we're doing great things. We're on a journey, right? We're in our icon season. We are doing the thing. You got to know everybody ain't for the icon season.
No.
Everybody's not for the great thing.
Mm-mm.
And once you accept that, you keep it moving.
You do. It's a lot of being an entrepreneur you learn a lot about yourself.
Oh my God. I have gotten so close to me in this journey. And I've always been someone, I was the girl that would take the solo trips. And I was Virgos are like that. We can just be reclusive at times and want to just be with ourselves. But what I have learned about myself has been fascinating, and what I've had to develop in this season, the armor of Ingrid, the things that I've had to really, really figure out has been, it's been interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm building a business, but I'm building myself too. And I'm grateful for that part of the journey, because I like who I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you have to trust yourself. You have to trust the things that you've asked the universe or asked God for. And yeah, I mean I think it's like a daily shifting. Like I am a very like this, and I'm very like black and white, and I don't do well with gray. And this particular season for me has really forced me out of my comfort zone for like things needing to be perfect and people reading my mind. And yeah, like I'm getting to some of the places where you are, where I'm like about to be like, hey, you guys need to start sharing my podcast clips.
Yeah.
Like all of you.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't cost you anything to repost my podcast clips.
But I want to tell you this. You have to tell people what you need and what you want. And I've had to learn that in this process. And I know there's a part of us, like the ego says, like, I shouldn't have to tell you, you have to reshare my podcast. You do.
Absolutely.
You do.
Absolutely. I feel that way.
I know, but guess
I'm
what?
like, why don't you just understand that? Because I'm going to repost everyone's shit. I'm a reposter, baby.
You know what?
my story is always 15 posts long.
But I promise you, we just have to remember everyone is not us. We can't take it personal. And
Why?
at the
Why are
end of
we
the
better than
day,
everyone, Ingrid?
I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you need more eyes, right, on
Yeah.
your podcast and what you're building. And so tell us, like, even you saying it to me right now, I'm like, yeah, I know you and I know Felicia. I should have reposted that episode and I didn't do it. And I'm hearing you now and I'm on it. But I think that's
I
like,
wasn't saying it because of that, but I appreciate that.
no, I'm not saying you were, but I think one, people are busy. There's a lot going on. The world is
Chaotic. It's burning.
you know the story I just told you this morning.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, right? So let's give folks some grace, but also develop the muscle of telling people what you need.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, like, obviously I give everyone grace because I'm like, I'm one of my like key principles is fully understanding that everyone is worried about their own shit.
Yeah.
Like you're worried about what you have going on
Mm-hmm.
and you have the space on the right or left for the things immediately in your line of sight. But when your friend is going through something, they have to tell you. You
Yeah.
can't just imagine
can't
that
be
someone
mind
is
readers.
going through
Yeah,
something
yeah.
across the country. They have to tell
Mhm.
you. And I think you're right. Like that is a muscle that I definitely need to work on because it is not in me. I will ask for help, but I ask for help in that, like, if I wanted to start a wine company, I'm not going to just try it. Like I would come to you.
I don't
and be
recommend
like,
you just try.
Yeah, I would come to the people that are experts on
Right.
it. Or if I had a question about it, like
Right.
I'm not gonna put it in Chat GPT. I'm gonna ask the person that I know is an expert, or I'm gonna ask people I know if they know an expert. Like
Right.
that part I don't have any shame about. Like I remember the moment I realized like I don't know everything.
Right.
And I will not pretend to. And I absolutely would rather get the answer
Mm-hmm.
than waste my time trying to find it so that I can feel like I found it.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely need to develop that muscle though.
Yeah. No, and I'm only saying because I've had to do it as well. I spend 90% of my day asking for things. I've built this business because I had to go and ask for different things in order to do it. Because at the end of the day, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And you got to get real bullish when you want to do something, right? So I spend my days asking for people to invest in the business. I spend my days asking retailers to take us in. I spend my days asking family members to pray for me. I need stamina. I'm tired today. I didn't sleep. Please pray for me. You know, like a good part of my day, I'm just asking for things. And I've had to completely silence my ego to get there.
Yeah. I mean, that's great advice and just perspective because for anyone who's building something, I mean, anything, like you're building a family, you're building a business, you're going through college, like whatever it is that you're building, you're on your weight loss journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need help and you need community, and ego is important because you have to be delusional all the
do.
time.
You do.
But you also have to know when to tell it to shut the fuck up because it can also destroy everything that you're building.
Yeah, and it can cloud you with feelings of like, I shouldn't have to ask.
Yeah.
Well, you might not, but ask. That's the only way you go.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask though. Like
Yeah.
it's this, things aren't going to get done. Nobody is walking around asking everybody, what do you need today? That's
No.
not how it works.
Yeah.
You might have had a conversation and at the end, like, so what's going on with you? But that's over a red blend iBest wine at the time that
Exactly.
you've made for each other. Like
Yeah.
that's not an everyday occurrence. So
Mhm.
I think that's important.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
of course.
I know you had a wild morning,
I
so
had a wild morning.
I
y'all.
appreciate you making the time and bringing us some wine, which will get
Yes.
drank. I'm very excited for the rosé. You already know that I love the red blend. I love your story. I
Thank
love what
you.
you're building. And genuinely, like I just love the product, and I wanted to chat with you about
Thank you.
your journey and your experience. So thank you for being so honest
appreciate it.
and vulnerable. And you can follow Miss Ingrid, Miss iBest, and iBest Wines on social. If you see it in the store, pick it up, save it. Maybe you're not drinking tonight. Maybe you don't drink at all, but you're gonna have to go to somebody's party at some point, and you can regift it. It's a great gift if you don't drink. Where can everybody else find you, support?
Yeah.
Get involved.
So you just shared my social handles. So Miss _iBest on Instagram, iBest Wines. We are in stores, Costco in Southern California, Total Wine in a lot of different states. Online, ibestwines.com. You can order the wine. And we're in Hollywood Bowl now, which I'm so
Oh my God,
excited about.
amazing.
Yeah, so we got to
Congrats.
go to a show and drink some wine. So let's figure that
100%.
out. We are also now at LAX, American Airlines flagship. Brought us in. The white blend is being poured there. So we're growing, we're building.
That's amazing.
And, but yeah, if you go on ibestwines.com, that's the easiest place. We also have a subscription. We can deliver right to your door, which people love. And we're just, building brick by brick, girl.
I think the first time I had it was probably at Dot Dot.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Stilo and Alana and the whole Dot Dot crew. They've been supporters of us from day one. And so you can also find us in a lot of like art exhibit openings and
Yeah, you were at Butter too, right?
Butter.
Yes.
Yeah,
Shout out to Butter.
One of the official partners of Butter. The art community is such an important community to me. I'm a part of it. I love it. I love artists, and they've really been who's kind of been powering, I think, just the energy behind iBest Wines. So I'm really proud of that.
Awesome. Well, make sure you go pick it up, or I'll come find you. And support your entrepreneurial friends. Okay,
Yes.
we need your help. Don't make us always have to ask you. Although I'm gonna start asking you.
Asking.
It was good
But
advice.
we do need you, and I think, again, like I said, everyone's like, "You're so graceful. Everything looks so great." I need you.
Yes.
Did you hear me?
Thank you for telling me I look good today. I know I am. Hanging on by a thread.
Yeah. This might be a 53 cents in the bank day.
Yeah.
We need your support. And I think we also just have to do a better job at saying, like, thank you. I'm glad you think I have it all together. But the average business that's founded by Black and brown women doesn't surpass 24 months.
Yeah.
You know what that means? You got to support them in month 25, 26, 27, 28. And we have to do a good job at saying, please continue to support me.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, Ingrid. It was so
You're
great
welcome.
to hang with you on Too Personal. Make sure you go support iBest Wines and follow us on social, Too Personal Show, and make sure you subscribe. Support your entrepreneurial friend. Love you guys.